We'll turn our attention to the personal finance segment. Harshvardhan Roongta is our expert for the day, and he joins us with a question on health insurance. Harsh, the health insurance business has increased from a 300 crore business to about, from 2,000 to 15,000 crore as of October 2012. And yet we find that a lot of people are still underinsured. What is the best gauge of how much and what kind of cover each one needs, and how can investors decide from the plethora of plans which are available, and how do you know which one is best suited for what requirement?
See, well, in the health insurance sector, there are typically 4 kinds of plans which are available. The first one is a Mediclaim, that we popularly known as Mediclaim. Now, this is a plan which offers to reimburse all the expenses that you've incurred during the hospitalization period. So this is known as Mediclaim. The second part is a critical illness plan which is offered. This is a plan which offers to pay out a fixed sum of money in case an individual is diagnosed of predetermined illnesses. Now, what does this simply mean is that in the plan itself, in the policy, there are a couple of illnesses which are enlisted. The moment an individual is diagnosed of any of the illnesses as mentioned, a fixed amount is paid out, irrespective of whether there is any treatment taken or a person has been hospitalized. There's nothing to do with that. The third kind of a plan is a surgical benefit plan. Now, what does this plan offer to do is the same thing. It offers to make a fixed payout in case a person is advised to go for a surgical treatment. So the event which triggers the payout in this case is that he needs to undergo certain surgery. It has again nothing to do with the Mediclaim, nothing to do with your existing cost or any other cost that you're going to incur in the hospital during hospitalization. The fourth plan that is available is an hospital cash benefit. Now, there are certain expenses which are not covered under Mediclaim policies. You incur those expenses in spite of it during your stay in the hospital, but they are not defined as medical expenses. So to take care of that part of expenses, the insurance companies offer a daily cash benefit plan, which say it varies from 1,000 to say 4,000 rupees a day. So say you have a plan which gives you say 2,000 rupees a day of every day of hospitalization. So these are technically the 4 broader policies which are available. Now, which plan to take? What I would recommend for every individual is that go in the ascending order, as I have mentioned. The first and most important is you need to have an adequate Mediclaim policy, which is a hospital reimbursement expenses reimbursement policy. Then he can consider a critical illness, and then so on. Now, one thing very important, you don't need to have all the 4 kind of plans in your portfolio. You can just be, you have to assess your own individual needs and buy a plan which suits you more appropriately. As regards to how much insurance should one have, under the Mediclaim, it depends on the cost of treatment in the city which you live. So if you're living in a metro like Mumbai or Delhi, you need to certainly have a higher sum insured. Now, within the city also, you need to decide if you're going to use a deluxe private hospital, then obviously you need to have a larger sum insured, because the cost of treatment in those hospitals is much higher. So you could go in say for about a 10 lakh worth of a policy. Now, within the Mediclaim, there are lots of features. There are different companies offering different types of policies. What one person needs to see and evaluate is, one, there should not be any sublimits in the room rents. Normally, Mediclaim policies do have those conditions these days. Secondly, if you made a claim, certainly you do not want to be penalized, and the company should not be charging you more in the coming years of renewal.
All right, Harsh, that's a fairly comprehensive reply you've given us.
But let's turn our attention to our caller.
Yes, there is a gentleman waiting for us. Ghanshyam from Kolkata is calling in with some questions on health insurance. Go ahead, Ghanshyam.
Yeah, hello madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, what's your question?
Yeah, madam, good afternoon. Actually, I just wanted to know that is it better to go in for specialized products or take an overall health cover? Like, for example, Religare Health has announced plans focusing on diabetes, critical illness, etc.
Okay.
Also, is it better to take the family floater health insurance plan or individual policies?
Fair question. Harsh, over to you. What would you advise? Specific illnesses or an omnibus health insurance scheme, and family versus individual policies?
Well, see, the first and foremost requirement is that you should have an adequate Mediclaim policy, which is an hospital expenses reimbursement policy, as I've mentioned. Now, if you're considering a family floater vis-a-vis an individual policy, there are certain restrictions, certain limitations of a family floater policy. Yes, there is a slight cost benefit if you cover your entire family together. But you have to understand that family floater, suppose you have a 10 lakh cover onto your entire family. Any one member can exhaust that 10 lakh limit with one single ailment, and the rest of the family members will be left without any insurance for the entire year. So, if you have to make a little bit, you have to go a little more detail into the features of the plan, you have to understand, and if it suits your requirement, fair enough, you can go in for a family floater, or else you can stick to an individual mediclaim policy with each member of the family. Now, as regards to going for specialized products, if you have covered yourself adequately under mediclaim, then you may consider a critical illness or any specialized product in that category, and then top it up with your existing mediclaim. What I would recommend is that this topic is a little more technical than what it seems to. So I would suggest that you would probably be better off if you consult a professional and then take advice accordingly.
All right, Harsh, thanks so much for joining us and answering Ghanshyam's question.